And welcome everyone to another OSR tabletop with myself, DM Bloodworth, and I am joined by Bear the Bubby. I have never seen that
That's
title
sorry.
before.
That's from one of James's. Hang on a second. Let me put up my mic. That's from one of James's silly things. Let me fix
Right,
that.
so
Hey,
I am joined by Andrew. Is it Collas or Collas or
Collas.
Collas? So
Yeah.
Andrew Collas, the author of Valorous, the heroic fantasy role playing game. So author, game designer, and also Bear, the Gen X GM on
That would be
YouTube,
me.
and you can also catch Bear and DM James and Shadow and
Don't.
Sun and sometimes myself as well on any of DM James's random, seemingly random, uh, and occasionally rambling. so
It's one of those things where I always laugh. It's like it reminds me of Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Spin the wheel, Raggedy Man. What are we gonna get? you know.
yeah, um, so all great people. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I just thoroughly enjoy, watching. Even if I'm not involved, and just watching from a distance, watching the three of you sometimes go at it, and
It's old men in a barber shop
and
for
others
sure.
too. Like Timmy was on today, and
Yeah.
contributing as well once in a while. Squirrel. What's his other
Squirrel Hermit.
Squirrel Hermit? Squirrel Hermit is occasionally on as well, and
Yeah.
a whole group of you know old guys, just
Characters. Let's just
just
call us
yeah, old
characters.
guy characters um, that are just talking about the hobby that we love and shooting the shit and just having a good time
A
talking about.
cantankerous bunch, to be sure.
Yes, to be sure. Um, and and surprisingly never really jaded. It's like you know we still just love the games, just love talking about the playing within the hobby and doing that. And
Yeah.
so I'm going to transition that right into Valorous and
Okay.
what got you to the point where what, I'm going to create a new role playing system, because that's what this really does represent. It is not OSR in the sense that it is not a D&D retro clone by design. So I'll let you go into that.
Okay. I would say by default, it is the furthest thing from OSR in the traditional sense of OSR you could find for fantasy. That's for sure. Let me take you back to the halcyon days of 2009 when we had been playing a lot of different superhero games. We always kept going back to Marvel superheroes, which you will see right there on my shelf. There's my Marvel pack. I've been running that since the 80s. And we wanted to play fantasy, and we had been doing fantasy, and we had tried every bloody fantasy system we could find. It was crazy. I've got fantasy games here. Maybe you've heard of, maybe you haven't. I don't know, but they're like, we've tried them for one or two sessions. They weren't scratching what we needed. We kept the campaign alive, but we were constantly changing the system. And then one day, my buddy said, Marvel would work really good as a fantasy game. And I said, okay, well, let me look at that. And I sat down and looked, and I did some work on it, and I left it alone after a while because we play tested it. It worked, but it wasn't, exactly where I wanted it to, and I didn't have the tools I have today. I'm very, very dyslexic, and I'm a diagonal reader. So those two together are a nightmare for absorbing or writing. So having smart tools now help me a lot with that and helps me actually get my ideas out better. But anyway, so then about 2020, it's around 2020, I started pulling with this idea called Bastard Sword. And Bastard Sword originally was going to be a 80s barbarian themed BX, actually an expansion for OSC. That's what originally it was going to be. Without throwing shade, I found myself very disappointed by the OSR community's responses to questions and how if you dared to venture off the gilded path, you were suddenly, sacrilege. Just go play 5e. The attitude was so horrible that I walked away going, And I started working on my own thing called the Versus engine. And I got a good way down the road with it. Ran into some problems and some design stuff I couldn't get myself around. So I dropped it. And then I started looking at it as a BX clone again. And I gave away the name Bastard Sword to my buddy Max Boivin, who has a channel, because he was doing a game called Frost something or other. And when I read his game, I'm like, dude, that sounds like it should have a setting, but you're doing it as a generic game. We were talking, then New Year's Eve rolled around. I said, you know what? Happy New Year's. I'm giving you the name Bastard Sword. Here's the logos. Here's everything. It fits your game much more than it does mine. And I walked away because I had no name for my game. Then we started joking around. I should make a Heroic, which is my superhero game based on Marvel. It's a Neo clone of that. I should continue this process and make Fantastic, which is the fantasy version. And I giggled and chuckled, but it got me working on the system again. But I never got a name. I was looking at Battle Axe. I was looking at all these different names. None of them were clicking. None of them were making me really, really happy as a designer or making it feel like it was what I wanted. And then I don't know how it happened, but suddenly Heroic led to Valorous. I was like, there's the name. So I made a quick logo for it in Photoshop. And then I sent it off to my, I have a guy that I work with in Egypt who's a graphic designer, and he takes anything I give him and for a fee, converts it into a beautiful SVG file format or AI file format, whatever it is, whichever we want, Adobe Illustrator, SVG, whatever your case may be. And he did it up, and I was like, nice. And then I started working on it again as a D&D clone. And about a week into that, my brain snapped, and I just went, the world does not need another D&D clone. Not necessary. We have covered every possible permutation of D&D we can think of that is of value has been done between, OSE and Dragon Slayer and Shadow Dark and Legend Labyrinth Lord, and just go on and on. The list never ends, right? Adventure Conquer King, it doesn't end. Maybe everybody was right. Maybe this should be a Heroic clone, a fantasy port of Heroic. So I went back, I looked at Heroic, and then I looked at what I wanted to do, and I started putting the pieces together. And I started with an article on my Patreon called Heroic as a Fantasy Game. And I did about 3 posts and then realized, okay, no, I have the DNA here. And then went back and started over and started writing Valorous. And once that happened, it was a quick run to the end, which is why I say, bare bones edition, lots of mistakes in it, lots of contradictions. In fact, this week, myself and my proofreader, Marco, are going to sit down one night and we're just going to take like one section, like talents or banes or boons, and we're going to read each one line by line and fix the stuff and make for the errata that's going to be coming out eventually. I was overwhelmed by how positive the response was. And that showed me I had made the right choice. So that's how we got here.
Yes, yeah. And it really is, it's an interesting system to see it go in a place that it hadn't been before, or you haven't seen very often. Let's put it that way. And then, just from reading the introduction, I was like, he gets it. He understands Heroic and what you're really meant to be, and that's something that is even more rare than something that breaks from. That just breaks from the D&D mold. I like the fact, and you brought it up earlier on in today's stream, that this is intentionally a classless system. All right. In other words, it is focused on, I don't know if you call it their secondary skills, and then their other selected skills. So their primary and their secondary skills. And I'll let you talk a little bit about that decision and what makes character A different from character B.
Well, okay, so one of the things I was hell-bent not to do is do a class and level system, right? Even when I was looking at it as a D&D clone, I was trying to find ways to do that, and then that didn't work. But one of the problems I couldn't fix was getting rid of the class and level system without creating a whole subsystem. So I went back to my 2009, what I called Monsters, Sorcery, and Heroes. MSH, get it? Marvel Superheroes. And I looked at what I did there, and I realized the way to make a character was this. And I took some of the lessons I learned from my BX and Versus engine and all that stuff I had explored already. You need to start with an origin, which is your species or your race or your people. Then you need to figure out your culture and social class within that culture, and various cultures will give you certain things, and also based on what social
Right.
status you had in that class, that'll help you. Then you need your background. What did you do?
Yeah.
Who were you in this society? Were you a blacksmith? Were you a baker? Were you a camp follower? Were you a black cat? It could be anything.
Yeah.
And that gives you some stuff. And then you pick, and this was the big one, your profession overlay. And this is
Yeah.
essentially who you are as a hero now venturing out. So some people could call that a class, but it's really just a template. And I even
Yeah.
included a system to make your own.
Mm-hmm.
Then the last thing you do is you roll for your hero's call. This is the event. This is the inciting event that happened that you have to figure out for yourself in the background based on the little information they give you that caused your character to go, I need to get out into the larger world and make a difference because there are larger things going on, or my worldview has changed, whatever. So based on all of that, we have our primary abilities, our secondary abilities, so stats, derived stats, hit points, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have proficiencies, which are basically just, they're like skills. They add a percentile bonus to your die roll. It's a D100 system. Then you have your talents, and your talents are like talent trees. They're professional things you do.
Right.
You're a wizard, you have a talent for that. If you're a fighter, you have a talent for that. And they give you various things, and you can go from general and whatever, and then there's basic, intermediate, and advanced, or basically advanced. I can't remember what I did in the end. I haven't read it in about a week, but I think it's basic and advanced. And then you have your boons and banes, which are like advantages and disadvantages, and they provide you a little bit more. In the book, you're going to see there's a system called corruption and virtue. But on my Patreon, I talked about this. I realized it's just another tracker that you don't need because there's the karma system, which is the expendable currency you use. And negative karma can count for corruption, and positive karma equates virtue, right? Good things I did got me points. Bad things I did took away points. And I'm working on now for the Judge's Companion, which is the next book about. By the way, GMs are called judges in this game.
Right.
It's a holdover from the old days.
Yeah.
In the Judge's Companion, we're going to have a section on negative karma, when your character starts losing karma into the negatives, and what the corruption side effects of that could be. So as you get negative karma, you're going to have a thing. And then when you reach negative starting karma, so everybody has a karma pool based on a primary attributes and their secondary attributes. If you ever reach the full negative, let's say you have 50, and then you reach negative 50 karma, you're considered completely corrupt and taken over. So that's how I did it. And the reason I did all of that, those sections, was to provide you, the player, with an absolute roadmap of choices you have to make as you're creating the character. So the character is coming alive as you go. Now, if you have an idea for a character, you can just build them by taking the stuff you need. But the idea is that if you don't, you're building the character, making your choices, and then when you get to the final point, you go, okay, this is who my character is. This is why they're in the world. This is the thing that they did. This is where they're from. And the big thing is it's all based around a setting. It is not a generic fantasy game. There is a setting, the Kingdom of Caldara, and everything I write is based around the idea of it being part of that world.
Yeah. So, I'm really interested in seeing how the corruption mechanic will work. And, one of the most interesting things I've ever seen in my gaming experience with corruption is the way that, I don't know if you're familiar at all with it, but the Star Wars, The Old Republic, all right, the MMO, and the way that as you became closer and closer to the dark side, your image actually changed over time.
Sure.
You literally started getting the veins, your eyes would change color. You could use various different, color blades, lightsaber blades. You could use different crystals. And it was the coolest thing, that your appearance would actually change, and other players were able to recognize it. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, hey, how'd you get a yellow lightsaber? Oh, well, you had to do these various things on, like I said, I don't know how familiar you are with the game, but on Titan, the starter world, that's where you could become a, what they used to call them. They used to call them gray Jedi. They were the neutral Jedi with the, yellow blades and whatnot. And then I just continued going through and becoming more and more corrupt along the way.
I'm glad you brought up the gray Jedi.
Go ahead.
I'm glad you brought it up. One of the things I'm absolutely refusing to let into this game is gray.
Mm-hmm.
You're evil.
Yeah. You brought that up earlier today too. Yeah.
You're evil or you're good.
Yeah.
No gray.
Yeah, no
Because
gray.
gray is the death of paper cuts that leads to grim dark,
Yeah,
edgelordy, shadow this, shadow that, which is why I made the game, because I'm so sick of that stuff. I'm
yeah.
so sick of morally bankrupt heroes.
Hmm.
Everyone loves Han Solo, but he has a heart of gold and he makes the right choice at the end. You
Right.
know? When I watch Deadpool, yeah, it's funny to watch,
Yeah.
but I don't think he's a hero.
Yeah.
At best, he's the creeping anti-hero, but in reality, he's just a homicidal maniac,
Yeah.
who may be a sociopath, who knows, or a psychopath, who knows.
Yeah.
So I think we went from a point where we used to have a very clear idea of who a hero and a villain were,
Hmm.
to the line is blurred.
Yeah.
And it's been blurring for the last 30 years.
Hmm.
And I wanted to step back to something that I remember from my youth, which was the definite heroes and bad guys, which is why I never liked the Gray Jedi, right? Because it was just, no, you're either light side or your dark side. That's it. No gray side. What's that all about? But hey, I'm different.
No, some of them were really interesting though. Like Revan was basically he went from a Jedi to, to someplace in between, to a Sith, and then back to a Jedi again.
Yeah, well, there you go.
But yeah, interesting.
Not to my
stuff.
taste.
Yeah, interesting stuff. But anyway, so I mean, I'd love to see that the corruption mechanic actually has a visual depiction of it.
Oh, it's going to.
Yeah.
As you collect negative karma, I haven't decided on the scale yet, but let's say for fun, it was for every 10 points below 0 you drop, you're going to roll on a chart of something about you that is noticeable. Right? Like your eyes are darkened, like, or there's a chill around you or something, I'm going to make a list of that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
That'll be really cool, because you'll be able to, you'll be able to role play that. You'll be able to recognize that in others and whatnot. I mean, there might be a role to perceive it or whatnot, but yeah, that's something that I'm really looking forward to seeing, and that's again another dynamic that you don't often see, in in your very standard role playing games. Across the board, very few things take away charisma or change your appearance. Other than combat damage, maybe yes, but very few things actually make it where you're going to start getting different reaction modifiers based on
which is something that should be cool, which you should have. But if you ever read DCC, Dungeon Crawl Classics, they have a mechanic for sorcerers or for wizards who get corruption as they go, and they start to get really weird. I might include that separately. If you access the art or other divine powers or what have you, this is the table you roll on. It's a little bit different. Holy crap, I have a third eye all of a sudden. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But that's not necessarily tied to a morale system, or I should say a moral system, as it is to just, wild magic is wonky as hell. You know what I'm saying? It's so yeah, I mean, along the lines of like I was talking about was the, I'd like to see corruption actually a visible condition.
I promise you it will be there in the Judge's Companion.
Yeah, that's cool.
I give you my word today. Yes, the Judge's Companion will have it.
All right, that'll be cool. That'll be great. So so you've made your role-playing game. All right, and so how has it been received so far in actual people who have it and have read through it or even run it or played it?
So far, it appears to be, how do I put this? So far, it appears to be well received. I've sold a fair, not overwhelming, but fair number of print copies already in the month and a bit that it's been around. And the digital copies on drive-through, we did all right business there. Not great. Still haven't broken even. Still haven't paid back the costs of the art that I bought for the front and back cover. Haven't paid that off yet. But getting there, step by step by step by step. And more so than that, the feedback I'm getting is very positive. And for those who have bought it and are reading it, I've been sharing them the link to what I call the Judge's Companion questionnaire, where I'm basically asking them like, hey, what do you want to see in the Judge's Companion? What's the stuff you want? I've only had 2 responses so far, but hopefully I'll get more soon. And those have been very, very enlightening for me because I get to see what sort of ideas people are looking at and all that. The community has been very good feedback. We have 1 live play that's already started, and I have another live play starting. Depending on how tomorrow night's Guardians game goes, we may be at the end. It may wrap up in 1 session. It may take 2. And then after that, we're going to replace it with the Valorous game on the Monday nights. So that's going to help people as well and hopefully gather a little more interest in the product.
I'm reading Paul's comment there. Let me put that up there.
What I like specifically about the land of M.
It's not a Scandinavian. It's not a Scandinavian dark fantasy, grim dark metal sword punk OSR love letter. It's the Muppets meets D&D.
This is not the Muppets meet D&D. I'm telling you that for anyone who's reading Paul's comment, but it is also not Scandinavian dark fantasy, grim, dark metal sword punk OSR love letter. So there you go. You got something.
I do want to make a correction to my setup video for this interview. There is in fact art in here.
Yes.
Despite
my God. So I wrote the foreword at the beginning of autumn, and I said I'm not going to have any art. And then I was laying out the book, and I had so much white space. I went, I can't in good conscience sell this to people with this much white space in it. So I bought some stock art packs, and my buddy Thruxus made some art for it. And yes, we use Smart Tools, AI. I call them Smart Tools. Yeah. And he did some great work, amazing stuff. And then I put it all in. But I forgot to go back and edit the forward to take out that piece. So yes, my God.
And not only is there art in here, but the art is like really impressive. I mean, some of these images are just stunning. And I look at them, and some of them just speak, like they say, an image is worth 1,000 words. Yes. Some of these are worth about 10,000 words. I mean, they're incredible, pieces of art. And I mean, like I said, I absolutely love that one there. I mean, you got to be wondering, like, what's going through this guy's head walking down there. And I know what you brought up during the live stream was, who the hell lit those torches, right?
Those things are 30 feet in the air.
Yeah, who climbed up, 35 feet in the air to light those torches? But it's it really is art-wise very, very good choices, in the artwork that is in here. And very impressed with it. I like the fact that it does have the ye old color chart on the back of the book too, so that makes it I'm of 2 mindsets, right? So I either like a character sheet, if it's a single page character sheet, to be on the back of a book, or something like this, something that's very practical and utilitarian on the back of the book. So one or the other. The one thing I cannot stand, and I know most do it anyway, is that they'll have like a description of what the game system is on the back. And I'm like, that's useless. I was like, I mean, I know what I bought. I don't need to read it again on the back of the book.
So it's a holdover from the bookstore browsing, right?
Yeah, I'd rather have something. And the reason why I like it on the back cover is because you can run a copy of it off very easily. So for a character sheet, or if I want to make sure every one of my players has this chart, very easy for me to print it out when it's on the back cover without busting open your binding just to get a character sheet printed out or whatnot. So very happy with that as well. And it's this is a hefty book. Like, you did not. How long did it take you to write this? That's a question I haven't asked.
Well, technically, 14 years, no, 16 years, because I
Yeah,
started
but
in
I mean,
2009. But the real
yeah,
nuts and crunch, the nice part of it is that 90% of it was already written for another system. So that's why there's a lot of mistakes, is because I just went in and fixed the system and changed the system. And that took about a week and a half to go through and just rename things properly and stuff. And I made mistakes. I missed stuff. Like I said, I'm dyslexic. I diagonally read. I'm an idiot. But, so I'd say about a week and a half, 2 weeks to get it to where it was something I felt was presentable.
right. Yeah.
But again, there was a lot of copy pasting from older documents and older versions of the game.
Yeah, and that's something that is, I mean, I see that even with big companies, right, or moderate sized companies. Trollord Games does that all the time with their, they do a lot of cut and paste, and so it's, that's why they'll put out errata sheets for this or that, or they'll come out, oh, we'll fix that in the next printing or whatever. Yeah. So when the referees manual comes out, that's going to be
the big part,
the same as this, or is it going to be like a Kickstarter? Is it going to be?
I'm very hesitant. I'm hesitant to crowdfund. I really am. Right. I'm very hesitant to crowdfund. I've gotten burned on it. I've done 3 crowdfunding campaigns in my life, and I owe money on all of them because it's just, you cannot predict how much shit's going to cost and how long it's going to take, right? So I'm very hesitant to crowd. Now, if the demand is there and enough people go, yeah, make the Judge's Companion, I'll back it. I will do the smart thing this time and only offer it as digital and not have to worry about all those other costs that accumulate with print and shipping and all that garbage. That's number 1. Number 2, it will be a separate book. It will not be a combination of the 2 books. It'll be a separate book with the errata, some new stuff, lots of new ideas, an adventure, random tables, things like that. So it's going to be a very useful book for judges to have.
Right.
If all of that becomes popular, if all of that is something people want more of, we will then look at doing the deluxe edition, where we'll take the basic rules, the Judge's Companion, what new stuff we've learned, and create effectively Valorous, the deluxe edition, which will have everything in one book. Now, that's going to be a hefty book. So I might not be able at that point to do it at this size. This is 7x10 executive. I'll probably have to jump it up to 8.5 by 11 just to be able to take care of page space. Like, it's a single column game for the most part. There are some places where charts and lists have 2 columns. So I wouldn't want to have to create something like that that's, the size of the Goblin Slayer role-playing game or something where it's like, 550, 600 pages in one book.
Yeah.
That would be atrocious.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Of course, if it really took off and got great down the road, I'd be looking at eventually wanting to make a box set out of it because I miss box sets.
Yeah.
They're the best.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other, that's a level of success I don't think we'll ever see. But hey, nice to dream.
Well, and they bring on a whole new level of difficulty in producing too, because, boxes and that such, I mean, unless you're like
assemble all the components.
Unless you're at Trollord Games now, that they're gonna, eventually be producing their own box sets and everything and do all that in-house. But even the even larger ones don't even do that. I mean, they're still going overseas for their box sets. So and that's a whole thing. Now, you're in Canada, so I know that you run into shipping issues.
Massive.
Yeah. So shipping costs and everything, basically shipping anything into or out of the United States is a real cost.
Why? Well, and this is why I chose
ineffective
Amazon.
thing sometimes.
And this is why I chose Amazon. People have asked me, why'd you go with Amazon, not drive-through or Lulu? And well, I sourced out the pricing on Lulu, and it would cost the same amount, if not more, for the book to ship as it was to purchase.
Yeah.
Which is absurd.
Yeah.
I was just like, that makes no damn sense. And then my problem with drive-through, and will always be my problem with drive-through, is that I can do my layout in whatever programs I want, make a high-res PDF of it, go to Amazon and Lulu as well, go to Lulu and be able to upload my PDF and be able to print from there.
Right.
And I've never had an issue. Never really had a problem. We had one issue with the cover, the first few that went out, but they fixed it real quick. Drive-through will not accept my file unless it's made in InDesign. Well, I'm not learning InDesign to do this to benefit to make your printer happy because your printer's got a particular way of wanting to do things. Amazon had no problem taking my business. Lulu would have no problem taking my business. The reason why I went with Amazon in the end was, again, shipping costs, because a lot of people have
Amazon Prime,
so they get free shipping on it.
Right? Yeah. Yep. That's the, the only downside to Amazon, and this is what I do with Amazon, is I purchased your book from Amazon, and then I would buy the PDF off of another location. Whether it's
that's the one downside. Now I could put the PDF as a Kindle on Amazon if I wanted to, and then allow people to get that for free when they buy the purchase copy. I'm thinking about that. We're going to see. I got to look into it a little bit more, but I don't know. I'm sort of drive-throughs for the PDFs, Amazon's for the print.
Yeah, I'll post this up there so people can.
Yeah, just gave it to you in case you wanted, if you didn't have it.
So they can actually look it up and purchase it if you wish.
It's $20.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was very cheap. I mean, $20 for a soft cover, fully contained in one book. So this is everything you need to run it or play it, and very, very quick turnaround as far as ordering. I got it within 2 days.
Usually
48 hour shipping is as fast as Amazon can get it out to you. So that's pretty good, depending on what day of the week you do it on. I mean, Sundays don't typically count. So if you order it on a Thursday, you will most likely get it by Saturday. If not, you'll get it on Monday. But very, very fast.
Indeed. And I hope everybody does get it. No offense. I need money. Come on. And secondly, I think everybody could play it and have fun. And I think that's the thing about it.
Yeah.
And it's an easy game to learn. It's based on a system that I've always described as 10 minutes. I can explain it to anyone. Yeah.
For the most part, the rules are contained on, and correct me if I get the page count wrong, but from page 7 to 11 is no, I'm sorry, 7 to I think I was right. 7 to 11, or it's like 5 pages of rules. Let me double check.
Yeah, that's
7 to 11.
Yeah. So that's your basic overview of the rules, right? That's your basics. And there's actually a basically, it's saying it's 7 to 11. I mean, let's be honest. Hang on. Rules overview starts on page 7, 8, 9, and we're done with all the basics. We get into the setting, and then after the setting and all that, you go through all the character creation stuff. That's larger, obviously. And then you get a basic combat system, which is about 10 pages, I think.
Yeah.
And that's the further. But your initial reading the rules and understanding the basics, 3 pages.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is, that's something that you can, with the PDF, you can print out those 3 pages and hand them to your players. You know what I'm saying?
I actually have I got to put it up on drive-thru. I have a player primer that I made for when I went to Claricon.
Oh, awesome.
To give the players to be able to, here's the rules. Just to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
So I think I'll put that up on drive-thru with as a separate product, like for free or something. I don't know. We'll see. I'm got to think about all this stuff. Mm-hmm. It's life.
So the referees, is it referees or judge? No, I'm sorry.
The judge's companion.
The judge's companion. So when do you anticipate that? I'm assuming 2026, but
yes, I'm going to start writing it in January. So I have time to let people who have played the game a little bit respond to the survey. Mm-hmm. Plus, it gives us time to go through and get all the errata that we can get done in advance. So I'll start writing it in January, probably release March, April, probably somewhere around there. Thruxus is going to hate me because I'm going to be coming back with more art deliveries from him, and he'll be like, "Oh, this guy," but he's a nice fella and he helps out.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's what it's going to be. And I figure March, spring. So about spring, it should come out and be ready to go for everybody. But you can play the game as it is, like 100%.
Oh yeah. Hey everyone. Let me just start acknowledging some people that are in my chat. I don't know if you're
no, I didn't piggyback it over to my channel. I didn't think to. Sorry.
I just realized because someone had jumped on and said, "Hey, your stream just ended 20 minutes ago, and I was like, I ended my stream like 4 or 5 hours ago.
You didn't
I
end
didn't
it
realize
here.
that it was still. I closed it on my end, but I guess it was still piggybacking off of.
Yeah.
So I'll have to go back and watch that other 3 hours of TM James and you guys ranting about
And fighting and arguing.
whatever the hell you're up to. So
I'm telling you,
it's
it's
like,
the end.
you
The
just
James
put back
Gang
up
is
on the screen.
100%. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
The James Gang is 100% a old men in a barbershop yelling at each other.
Well, at least it's at each other and not the clouds, because that would be more concerning when you're yelling at clouds, so old man yelling at clouds. So it was it was great to to be with you guys for those 2 hours and talking about Hyperborea. And then every once in a while I try to squeeze in Valorous in there to get us talking about that as a primer for this year. And so let's get to another thing which we haven't spoken about yet, and that is the monsters that you've included.
Yes.
So what was like some that you were like, I'm absolutely putting this in, and others that was like, there's no way I'm going to include that?
So my goal, let me put on the old man eyes, was to have 100 monsters in the book. And what I decided when I did that was, I said one of the things I was doing was I was not just going to do a monster manual of generic monsters. Every monster was going to be tailored for the setting and have a name. So you've got Ashfang, Barrow Eater, Basilisk, because those are cool, Blueskin, Brigand Chief, Burrower, Worm, Cave Leech, Cavern Flit, Swarm, Chimera. Like everything here has a bit of a story to the lore or a little bit of a connection to the world. And one of the things I forgot to do was talk about how there are unique monsters, and I didn't get into that. I'll do that in the Judge's Companion. But ultimately, I wanted to give them something like the Desert Queen of Ashrith. What is she all about? Who is the Desert Queen of Ashrith? What's that? I wanted it to be more than, hey, look, kobolds.
Yeah.
That's kind of boring to me, you know what I mean? But I mean, there's some basics like cultists and what have you. There are no dragons. That's the first thing you'll notice. But there is something called a drake. And a drake are basically lesser dragonkin, proud and intelligent. I got to fix that in the errata. They are not intelligent. They are animals. Often bound as mounts by knights or ember folk, but free drakes are fiercely independent and territorial. A sleek dragon without 4 legs, its scales shimmer with elemental hues, smoke curls from its nostrils as its wings unfurl with thunderous grace. And the other reason why there is not a single monster picture in the monster section of the book is because I was insistent on this. I was not going to flood it with a bunch of images of monsters because I would rather put a little description, and now you as the judge have to describe that to your players when they see it and let them figure it out. Because nothing disturbs me more than, oh, and then you see this, and they just hold up a picture. Like, yeah, that's great, that's cute, that's fun, but you walk into the place, you see this creature. It stands about 8 to 9 feet tall. It has a leathery skin texture that's pebbled. Its eyes sickly yellow with red veins. Like, start doing that. And then the players have to listen, number one. Number two, they have to start to imagine. And just like in a good monster movie, you never show the monster till the 3rd act. Jaws taught us that, right? Because if you just show the monster right away, But if you let them build up their own image in their head of what the monster is, it's going to be way more terrifying for them. It's going to be way more personal for them. And then when you show them the monster, well, you don't get to do that here. You don't get to do the 3rd act reveal of what the monster looks like. They've got it in their head, and that's the monster to them forever. And that, to me, is far more interesting. How are we supposed to know what it looks like? Read the description. Exactly. RTFM. So that was the goal with the monsters, was to create something that had a lot of unique monsters for Keldara, or monsters from D&D but slightly adapted for Keldara, and to provide descriptions so that you as the judge can describe them as you want, and even maybe edit them and change them for your campaign, your version of Keldara. And then you'll see your player says, no pig-faced orcs around here, brother.
Oh,
not a single one.
There is no getting stuck with pig-faced orcs. There are only pig-faced orcs.
I disagree.
Love pig-faced orcs.
So my favorite thing about Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings movies was that you could look at the orcs and immediately understand that they were once elves or descended from them.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
could see it, you
yeah.
know?
I wonder if you could see that in Ralph Bakshi's
No,
works.
no,
No,
they
they were
were
really negative, and that was really cool about them too. That was like artistically, the fact that he used negative imagery for them. It
sure.
really, like, it was like they sucked the light into, into the image. That absolutely incredible. Much better than in the musical that was the first, which I absolutely love that movie, but it was too much of a, where
Not a
there's a
fan.
whip, there's a way. It's a catchy tune though. Saying
Yeah, I hear. Just give me a quick second here. I got to deal with a cat.
Sure. So, if anybody wants to, ask any specific questions, you can certainly put them in the chat here, and we will go to your specific questions about Valorous as well. So, I'm not going to bring anybody in on this unless Bear, you don't have a problem with that. But
As long as they want to talk about Valorous, I have no issue with that.
Yeah, that's the only thing is, like, if you're going to come in, we're talking about this game system and only this game system, and we're going to try not to run off the rails and get lost in the woods anywhere with anything. So let's see. So I will address any questions that are up here, and let's see if I've missed any. So I'm going to go back in here and see. Let's see. Yellow Sabers. I saw that already. The Scandinavian. I put that up there already. That's why Shadow needed Fireball for his Sea Elf. Were they playing in your game for that?
Shadow is playing in the one of the Valorous live plays. Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. So I didn't post this one. He got a good gig. Lightning torches. Oh, lighting
torches. Yeah, for the statues.
Yeah.
That's cute. That's cute.
Yeah. And let's see what else. I detest point buy.
Well, good news. It's not a point buy system.
Yeah. My preference on orc morphology comes from Dragon Quest 2nd edition. Okay. Cool. Random character generation or point buy. So it is. It's random, correct? Or
it's choices.
Oh, choices.
It's decisions. There is one random part where you can make the choice if you want to have a good character already, which is the hero's call. But it's basically, you start off with your 8 stats: fighting, agility, strength, endurance, reason, intuition, psyche, dynamic. So 4 physical, 4 mental, right? Or 4 physical, 4 mental. They all start at typical rank, right? So again, we have a rank system, which is basically everything goes from feeble and up, and they go 2, 4, 6, 10, 20, 30, 40, 75, 100, and onwards. If you're up in those levels, you're not playing this campaign. I don't know what you're playing, but they're there just because they're part of the old system. And you might want to have a big, giant, scary thing that's really disturbingly powerful.
Yeah.
So you start off with typical 6 in all of them. And then when you pick your origins, it gives you some boosts. And when you pick your culture and social status, you get a boost. When you pick your background, you get a boost. When you pick your heroic overlay or your profession overlay, you get a boost. And then you have some picks to make at the end. But it is a pick system, ultimately. It's not a point buy, but it's not random.
So I'm looking at here, and I'm looking at the chart and trying to glean as much as I can from the chart. Let's say that someone is looking at this from totally fresh, never read the book at all, and they're just looking at this. So shift 0 means no boosts at all. That's the line
that's the baseline. Let me show you something else. Hang on, I got to see where it is here in my bag of wonder from Claricon. Did I take it out of the bag? Oh, I took it out of the bag. Okay, I don't know where I put them, but somewhere around here. I don't know where I put them. Sad to say, I have a better chart, but I don't know where the hell it is right now. I don't. Oh, there it is. Nope, that's not it. Okay, I'm stupid. Ah, Jesus Christ, if it was a snake, it had bit me. So to use the chart, so these are all the things I made for Claricon. Let me just make sure I got the right one. Yeah, that's fine. That's the problem with lamination. They slide away. Okay, so this is more like the traditional Marvel chart to help everybody out with, right? So this is the thing. So every time you do an action, you take your rank. Okay, so let's say I want to hit you. I got to take my fighting rank. Let's say my fighting rank is excellent. Okay, so I've got excellent, beautiful. But you're a damn good fighter. You're elite. Your fighting rank is remarkable, 30, which is one higher. So I come here to shift 0, and then I go -1, and I'm rolling on this column. Okay, so hence a column shift. Now I might, after I figure out where my column starts, I might have talents or other things that add column shifts to it to make it easier and switch up. It goes from +9 to -9. Sorry, +9 to -9, and basically you roll a percentile, and then you cross-index across to see what color results you get. Gold, the best. Silver, pretty good. Copper, well, silver's like solid. Copper, partial. White, a miss. And pewter, a fumble at the very bottom of the table. So that's what that does. So that's the thing. It's a comparative system, or as we call it, as I like to call it, the intensity or feat system, in that you're always comparing two things. Even the static difficulties have a rank to them. So you're always going, okay, I've got remarkable, I'm going against incredible, that's -1. I've got incredible, I'm going against remarkable, that's +1. So I know which column I'm rolling on, but we always start in the middle of the table at 0 and go up or down from there.
So if I'm resolving a combat, so do I just know the shifts ahead of time and know the comparison to differential and say, well, you're going to roll with this? And
well, I would literally say, okay, so you're trying to hit the orc general. All right, what's your fighting? You go, oh, it's excellent. I go, well, he's got remarkable, so you're rolling on -1. Do you have any talents to add to that? Oh yeah, no, I've got puissant, which gives me a +1 column shift in mythic, and I got this other thing, battle lord, and it gives me another +2 versus blah, and I have a boon, which is the orcs are my hated enemy, and I get +1 column shift versus orcs. Okay, so that's -1 +4. You're on the +3 column. Roll your dice. Let's go. And as players get more and more comfortable with it, all you have to do is just tell them the rank they're going against.
And so just to look at this real quick, if I'm looking at the +3, then it's anywhere from a 1 to an 85. 85 being their, anything below an 85 is successful.
So you said you're on the +3. So on a +3 column
+3
shift,
CS,
So 44 or higher would be a copper. 65 or higher on +3. 60 or higher would be a silver, and 85 or higher would be a gold result. Yeah. So I left white off the table because it was just a negative column in between pewter and all that. You just have to look at the number and go, if I roll higher than this equal to or higher than this, I get this result.
You get a better result. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a roll high system.
Absolutely.
So it's a roll high system. So that's important to remember as well.
And the other thing is there's a whole bunch of what they call feats, features of extraordinary aptitude, ability, or talent, and those are listed down here for you, and they give you what the color results mean. So if I'm doing an edged attack, I'm stabbing you and I hit. Well, on an edged attack, on a pewter, it's a fumble. Oops, something bad happened. On a white, it's a miss. On a copper, it's a hit, but it's going to be -1 rank shift to my damage. So let's say I'm doing remarkable damage. Oops, I'm only doing excellent because I didn't hit you quite as well. I clipped you. If I get a silver, it's going to be full damage, plus I get a stun result because I hit you pretty hard. And then if I get a gold result, and this is the thing, I get a kill result. And now you have to make a kill save versus the damage intensity, or suffer the effects of a kill save, which can be dead in one shot.
You're dead. Yeah.
So there you go. And once you get used to it, like Doc Flamingo says, once you get used to it, it's so easy and so intuitive and so fast, and it plays so fast. Hang on. Someone said, sorry to be that, they said, so shift the difference for opposed rolls, standard roll, otherwise. Yes and no, Paul. So there's always going to be an opposition. Nothing is unopposed. It's either opposed by an active value from someone else, or it's got a static number attached to it that you're facing off against.
Yeah, and Doc Flamingo here says that it's amazingly simple once you get used to it. Get used to the ranks.
It just plays so fast once you get used to it.
And a lot of people already have their copies, so that's awesome. Good to see. So how do you get better over time? All right, so there's a
All right.
question. How do you
So
get
one
better
of the
over
so
time?
one of the things I did, for those who know the old Marvel game, one of the things I did was, one of the things I hated in the old Marvel game was the karma rewards. The karma pool you built up was also used to improve your character. Therefore, 99% of players never improved their character. They just squatted on their karma to use it for rolls, right?
Mhm.
So in Heroic, I created an advancement system. Every game you play, you get an advancement. You might get 1 or 2 advancement points for other stuff you did in that session, but you get at least one. To increase an attribute, a primary ability, to buy another talent, to improve a proficiency, to buy off a bane, or maybe purchase a new boon, has an advancement cost. You have to spend this many points to do that. So as you play the game, you're building up advancement points, and eventually you can start improving. It's a very slow improvement system because you're already pretty heroic out of the gate. And then you'll generally just get your advancements as you go higher and higher. And thank you, Archeo Matt, for buying a copy. I really appreciate that. Thank you, sir. And Curry Scott, thank you as well. Thank you so much.
Yep. Yeah. So far, quite a few people have said they already bought their copy from the various streams and everything because we've been mentioning it over the course of like the last week and a half or so, and good to see that it
Hopefully.
is getting the word out.
Fingers crossed. It's always fingers crossed. You want to sell, and then the big thing that you want is you want people to play it more than anything else. I mean, selling it is nice, but I want to see people play it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is that when you go to conventions, what are you seeing in the wild? And that's something that I keep on bringing up. Is that when you go to these conventions, and particularly the smaller ones, I think that you'll find that there is a lot more games than you've ever heard of being run at these places, and at conventions, and it's just awesome to see it. And I hope that when people go to conventions, that they're going with the intention of playing game systems they've never played in before. And trying them for the first time or running them for the first time. So that's something that I think is very important for whether you're OSR or you're independent, is to encourage people to run your game at conventions because others are going to see it in action, or like you're doing with like your streaming your game so that people can see it in action. But I think convention play is really important for it, and whether you're actually going to conventions, and that's like the next segue.
Well, I only go to one convention. I go to ClariCon every year. Last year I ran Heroic.
Every year.
Last year I ran Heroic.
And where is that?
It's in Ontario. It's up in Ontario.
It's in Ontario.
It's just west of Toronto. It's run by the Dungeon Minister. If you haven't checked out his channel, by the way, go check out
go check out the Dungeon Minister and everything. I know I follow him, but I don't watch enough of his videos, so I don't get it because I have too many. I literally follow like almost 300 channels.
Wow.
99% of I actually just gleaned out like or cleaned out, I should say, cleaned out at least 25, 30 channels that were either dead or not, just role-playing game or computer gaming, adjacent kind of videos. So
that's fair.
But I know of his. I was confusing him with someone else, which I was like, now I know who he is, and he's got a good channel over there, and you should check that out. All right, so you sent me another link.
This is the drive-through RPG link for the PDF. If anybody wants to try it with the drive-through RPG, it's $9 American.
Yeah.
So that'll help you out a lot.
Yeah.
And for those who I don't use X. To be honest, I'm not a big X guy, but if you want to look me up on X, it's at Collas Andrew. So Collas, and then Andrew.
Yeah.
If you want, or just look up Bear the Gen X GM.
Affiliate link for that, and that way I'll get a little something that I can then turn around and buy other stuff.
Have you got a drive-through affiliate link?
Yes, I do.
Why don't you put that up then? Guys, don't use that link. Let him put up his affiliate link so he can make a buck or two.
It's oh my gosh. Let me.
You can get the hardcover on Amazon.
It's in my description. Actually, my drive-through affiliate link is in every description of every video. So that's probably the easiest way to find it. Let me get a copy of it. I'll throw that up there.
And if you want the Amazon link, he put it earlier in the chat, but he can throw it up again for you right now if you want. Miradorable. And Miradorable, you asked about if it was like the GURPS system. I don't know. I never played GURPS. I read it once and didn't grab me, so I don't know.
I'm just trying to find the link.
No worries, man. No worries.
And let's see. So here is my drive-through affiliate link. Blah.
Hey, Jason.
Yeah, I don't self-promote enough. So here is my drive-through affiliate link, and you can go through there and find Valorous and pick it up through that link there.
Would you mind throwing up the Amazon link again? Because Midorable missed it, and I guess he's already scrolled by in the chat.
Okay. And
if you wouldn't mind.
I will throw that one up in there as well. So this is the drive-through. The Amazon link is this one over here. And there is the...
And I don't know if it'll let me post it. Let me see if I can post it. It'd probably stop me because you usually can't post links in YouTube chat. But there is my...
sometimes they block... Yeah, sometimes they block them out.
Yeah, it looks like it's blocked. I tried posting my X handle for you guys. Sorry. Now, what I want to talk about is my favorite part of the game.
All right.
Which is basically the setting. The Kingdom of Caldara, which takes up a very large chunk of the book and literally informs everything in the game design and what we're doing. I hate, with the fiery passion of 1,000 suns, Grimdark, Edgelord, Shadow, whatever. I hate it. I hate it. I hate anti-heroes. I hate grayness. I'm so tired of it. I literally watched last night on my Discord. We watched the Deathstalker remake 2025 Deathstalker. First short capsule review. The originals are better because they at least have the Roger Corman charm to them. This one was okay. Like I wouldn't rush to watch it again. But again, morally bankrupt hero, out for themselves, blah, blah, blah. I don't like that. I don't want that. So I made a game that's about heroism. The setting itself, the Kingdom of Caldara, this is the first time I've ever done something like this, which is normally when I design a world, I design a world.
Yeah.
And I've done several. I've done Final Age, which is the Shining Kingdoms. I've done High Asia, and I've done my setting, the West. Here, I took a single kingdom. Surrounded by mountains on one side, ocean on the other, mountains across the top, ocean at the bottom. So it's a very isolated kingdom that can have dealings with the rest of the world. And I put some references to other places in the world in there, but it's about the kingdom. 10 years ago, the king and queen were murdered. And civil war broke out as the regent, who was the former Kingsguard, head of the Kingsguard, Rauline Sin, basically took control, took the young princess under his wing and declared himself regent, and for 10 years fought a civil war in the south of the kingdom to unify all the barons and lords of the south. Meanwhile, the north rebelled, and the north said, nope, we don't recognize him. And in fact, about 4 or 5 years ago, they popped up with an exact duplicate of the princess going, we got the real one. She's here with us. She's the real queen. That's a fake. And the South are going, no. This is the real one. That's the fake. And the whole idea is that you pick up your campaign at the end of the Civil War. The North and the South are at détente. And you are heroes. And your job is to ride throughout the land as heroes, whatever your campaign's going to be, but you're heroes who are going around trying to make it a better place. Trying to heal some of the damage. A lot of black magics got used. There's horrible, disgusting creatures out there, which my players in the one game I'm running are about to encounter in this swamp they're going into. There's tons of adventuring locations. There's going to be more. I'm going to be developing the setting more and more and more for people and really fleshing out the kingdom for them. But the whole idea is that the kingdom needs heroes who are going around to small towns and going, what? Oh, you've got a green skin problem, goblins essentially, and they're attacking your village. All right, well, we're going to head out, not for money, not for reward, but because it's the right thing to do. Right. We're going to go out as a company of heroes, and we're going to go handle your goblin problem for you. Or, there's this poor town being besieged by a swamp drake. Well, we're going to go and take on the swamp drake and clean out that swamp for you. And that's the idea, is you're playing heroes. You're playing people who want to make the world a better place in the most Arthurian of way possible that I could think of. Now, I know most people aren't going to want that, and that's fine. You can take the rules out and run your own campaign universe. You might have to adjust some things because the way magic works and stuff is very campaign specific, but you can do it. But I really would love to see people running games in Keldara and see what they do with Keldara. And I'm going to be expanding Keldara. I do on my Patreon. There's going to be lots of Keldara posts coming up in 2026 where I'm going to be expanding parts of the kingdom and the lore, and there's already a bunch there. I'm going to be putting up NPCs. Monday, we have one of the biggest NPCs in the setting is going to be showing up Monday on my Patreon tomorrow morning. But it's all about heroism. It's all about being more than just murder hobos who are just trucking around, destroying economies, killing everything, having sex with everything in sight, and stabbing town guards in the face. Ugh.
Also, there's no castle anthrax that your adventurers get trapped into.
Oh, there could be a castle anthrax. Why not? But it'd probably be run by a succubus, and now you got to fight that bitch. Any mechanics to enforce heroism, like karma loss and phase rip? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's there. And there's more coming in the Judge's Companion, where there's going to be information about what happens when you get into negative karma. Because unlike a superhero game like Heroic or the old Phase Rip, you can just keep collecting karma until you're sitting on thousands of points of it if you really want. In Valorous, your pool can only ever be as big as what your reason, intuition, psyche, and dynamic added together is. So your starting karma, unless you improve one of those throughout play, your starting karma is the limit to the amount of karma you can have. So because superhero games, you want things flying around and being all pow, boom, zip, zam. In this, you want a little less of that. So as a result of that, you can get to negative karma. And once you get into negative karma, as you start doing bad things and you start, maybe being a murderous person or a covetous person or a lecherous person, and you're getting negative karma, which again, we're going to expand more in the Judge's Companion. It's going to have an impact on your character. People are going to notice it. You're going to be more corrupted. You're going to be more susceptible to the forces of evil and possession and demons sort of whispering in your ear and stuff like that. So that's the idea, right? Now, you can take the game, throw all that in the garbage, and do what you want. Once you buy it, it's yours. I don't come to your table. I don't tell you how to play the game. And if you want to publish stuff for it, I have released it as a Creative Commons limited commercial, in that you can publish material for the game. You can't republish the game.
Right.
So you'd be encouraging people to pick up a copy before you'd say, you can't republish a section of the rules, but you can publish for the system. And I don't get a penny for that. I don't care. Uh-oh. Yep. Typity type.
Yep. I'm checking and seeing. So let's see what else we missed here, if anything.
I'm curious about the Banes. Are they like disadvantages in super type games, like dependence to protect, oaths to uphold, physical impairments, like vision impairments? So I'm going to say yes to all of that. In the sense of, let me give you a little quick look at the Banes. So first thing you have to understand is that boons and banes come in categories, right? There's categories of boons and bane. They're not just, it's a boon, it's a bane. There's levels to them. Talents, banes should be right after this. Boons and banes. So there are minor, moderate, and major. Okay. So if we take a look at the banes, and there's not a lot of them, there's only one page of banes. There will be more in the Judge's Companion. For example, minor bane, aggressive, hot-headed. You must roll psyche to resist lashing out. At higher intensities, anger rules you. Or superstitious, -1 column shift to resist fear when faced with the uncanny. Omens weigh heavy on your heart. Moderate 1, enemy, a foe is sworn to your downfall. At higher intensities, they hunt you relentlessly, so you can take it more than once when it's higher intensities. Or a major bane. Let's see, cursed, -3 rank shifts to resist supernatural effects. The curse shapes your life. Things like that. So they're in there. We're going to have a lot more of them when the Judge's Companion comes out. I just wanted to put a basic set in of boons and banes for people to be able to build their characters, but it's 2 pages. Boons on one side here, and banes on the other. And most of them are very, very descriptive, narrative. Nightmares. Lose 10 karma at session start from restless sleep. Your dreams torment you. So every session, you're going to lose 10 karma because you've been having nightmares. A lot of these banes and boons, or boons and banes, are going to be tied to your hero's call. The event that made you a hero gives you a bane and a boon right away. So that can be something you can look at there. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, so I'm looking like right on the next section where it talks about advancement. So why don't we talk a little bit about advancement in the game?
Sure.
So how do you pick up new traits or new base scores, your attribute scores or whatnot?
Give me a second. Let me get over there. Because the problem is I have 2 games in my head. I have Valorous and I have Heroic that are very similar systems. So as a result, sometimes I'll say something and it's like, oh, no, wait, that's in Heroic. Sorry, I'm dumb. And so I want to make sure I have it in front of me. Give me a quick second. Movement, health, karma, boons and banes. I closed the book though. Advancement. So, so you get 1 advancement point per session. If the players vote you as MVP, you get a second one. Good night, Miradorable. And then with those advancements, you can spend them. So to improve a rank number, it costs 1 advancement to improve a rank number, but you don't go from 20 to 30. There's a whole series of steps, which is shown in the book, of the range before you get there. But when you get to the end, so let's say you get to the end of Excellent, which is 25, and you want to go to 26, which is the beginning of Remarkable, you have to pay what's called a cresting fee to crest into the new rank. That costs 5 advancements because it's a major step. You're shifting up a column, a rank. That's huge.
Right.
Proficiencies cost 1 for 1 to improve. Proficiencies can never exceed master tier, which is 20%. A new talent costs 10 advancements to improve, either add if a talent you have is improvable or to buy a new talent. Buying off a bane is this at the discretion of the judge, but it is ×2 costs. So for a minor would be 2 advancements, for a moderate would be 4 advancements, and for a major would be 6 advancements.
Okay.
And there you go. And remember, you got to do this whole idea on training. You don't just get stuff. Right. And then of course there's the whole section on virtue and corruption, which we can just throw that page out because it's going away in the new edition, or in the Judge's Companion. Right.
Well, cool. I mean, that's really, really good to see. And then I was looking at, because I've been flipping through as we go along, and
look, I'm not going to lie. If you pick it up right now and you read it, you're going to find some stuff that might feel a little wonky. That's because, we got it to market. We are going to be fixing a lot of that in the errata and making sure stuff feels better. But there is, it is there. There are going to be some bugaboos hiding in, some goblins hiding in the grass, as they say.
Magic items. We haven't spoken about that yet. So, so what does the nature of magic treasures look like?
So again, this is not a murder hobo game, so treasure should never be your primary reason for doing anything. It could be a fun role-playing aspect of your character, in that they, I want to get all this cool stuff, and I want to be a cool guy that does. I have a magic sword, and I have this, and I have that. But on page 239, right at the end of the book, with some beautiful art right beside it, it's Appendix E, Magic Items of Caldara. Magic items are the rarest treasures of Caldara, stories bound in steel, crystal, wood, and prayer. Each is born through sacrifice and patient mastery, never accident or haste. Enchantment is not a combat action or a quick ritual, it is a downtime activity. And we have that in the time things. Downtime activities are when
Right.
you're not adventuring. Measured in weeks or months of effort, faith, and precision. And then we have a system for how you can create them, which is very important. And there's a formula for it and all that kind of fun stuff. And then I created some sample ones for you, some example magic. I'm starting on page 244. And we have, for example, potions and elixirs. And we forgot to put in potion rules. So that's going to be in the Judge's Companion, how to do alchemical stuff. Charms and talismans, the charm of calm tides, the pendant of the meadowborn, the witch's fetish of reflection, rings and jewels, weapons, armors and shields, relics and holy items, miscellaneous devices and artifacts. And then we have cursed or twisted creations. Oh, there's a typo. It should be cursed. None of them are considered generic. Every weapon, every armor, every shield, everything except like a basic potion, so
Right.
every ring, it has a story.
It has a story. It's named, and I like the fact that they don't have, and this is something that's very liberating because it allows it to become something different than what you're normally seeing. There's no experience point value attached to finding a magic item. You know what I'm saying? So that magic item is going to be something that is a measure of your ability to storytell. Like, how did your character get this? How does your character use this? How much does your character, is this your character's precious? You know what I'm saying? It's like, because, once you put on an experience point value on something, it, in many cases, it devalues it in comparison to another item, right? So if you're getting a magic dagger that has some ability to it other than it's a +1 dagger, and then you get another dagger that's a +2 dagger, you're going to throw out the +1.
Yeah.
And it's like that thing had meaning, for you. And
so in Valorous, meaning is a part of magic, right?
Yeah.
Magic items have stories.
Yeah. So I like the fact that it's not tied to an experience point value. It's not something that you're going to it's going to have a qualitative thing where it's like, oh, this one's better than that, and so I'm going to throw that away, even though that one has an incredible story behind it. It's like, do you throw out a 200-year-old house because a prefab was built next door that you really enjoy? You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, that 200-year-old house has a story to it. It has a certain aesthetic to it and whatnot. So, I'm just glad to see that.
Well, I never wanted this game to have, we've been playing for 6 months. We played, I don't know, twice a month, 12 sessions, and we're just bristling with magic items and boots of this and rings of that. No.
Yeah.
How many magic items are there in Lord of the Rings that the party carries? A sword, some cloaks.
Well, every one of them has a sword. Yes, that's a magic sword.
Yeah, but the only magic sword we see in the entire story is Sting. It glows when orcs and goblins are near.
Well, there's technically the
barrow right. The barrow right.
All of the troll.
But that's not really magic. That's just it's made by an ancient culture. It's Numenarian
it's
stuff.
Made by elves, and it has properties. I mean, that gets into that's why that's why the blade that the Witch King got stabbed with was is what killed him. It wasn't Eowyn striking off his helmet. It wasn't he wasn't killed by a man. He was killed by a halfling, a hobbit.
Now, listen. We could debate that till the end of time, but sadly, there are people with PhDs debating that to this day. So we'll let them argue that and stuff. But the whole idea is that I don't want you crawling with magic. I don't. Or at least in my campaigns, I want people. I'm a dirty, filthy story gamer. Yeah, trademark.
I do the same thing even with D&D, where it's like no, you're not walking into a shop and buying even a +1 dagger off the rack. You know what I'm saying? It's like, they're not meant to be just throwaway items that you can pick up in Walmart. They're supposed to be something that, you covet once you get your hands on it, because magic items should be somewhat rare. In my worlds, adventurers are somewhat rare. You know what I'm saying? It's like, when I was running AD&D first edition, and at the time I had 9 players or 10 players, something like that. And they walked into this particular tavern, and they were, they were kind of taken aback how everything like that whole portion of the town just kind of came to a stop. And I was like, well, in a moment outside of character and everything, maybe even after the session, I says, I want you to try to, really appreciate what it is to have 9 or 10 adventurers enter into a small, into a small town. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's not something that they see every day, if not once in a lifetime, kind of an experience. And adventure level characters, whether they're NPC or, or PCs, they're less than 5% of the overall population. It's like, the whole world is a bunch of dirt farmers, and, when you're coming across another, leveled character class, 8th or 9th level, that's why they're freaking lords. That's why they're running the show.
I
And
agree.
they're not going to have a whole bunch of people beneath them that are 5th or 6th or 7th or 8th level, right below them. No, they're going to have like a whole bunch of people that are regular freaking people. Maybe a couple of henchmen that are, the equivalent of a first level or something, but it should be very rare.
Yes.
And with a game system like this, and some others do that too, where they're not very magic centric. I think that that's a good thing to have in in your world building, in your campaigning and whatnot, is to kind of build that capacity for appreciation of the power differential between adventuring peoples and non-adventuring people.
I agree. Just give me a second. Cats are being stupid. Hang on.
Sure. Let's see. Might depend on whether or not I'm getting some XP on a resale value of a +1 dagger, plus the snazzy new +2 dagger to use. Yeah, it's, again, when you include that kind of a thing, you are making that swap dynamic in your head, and and I prefer not to. I prefer not to have that kind of a thing for magic items and everything. I like other systems where you could have weapon quality will add or take away from the effectiveness of a weapon. It's almost like the equivalent. So you could have a +1 to damage because it's a Hattori Hanzo sword, as opposed to, some sword that the blacksmith made on the side. It's like so let's see what else we have here. The +1 sword is the death of magic, from wonder to banality, in the blink of an eye, especially if you're buying one off the greasy pawn, from pawnbroker. Yeah, it takes away, it demystifies magic, and even in a fantasy, even a high fantasy setting, magic items should still be somewhat mystical.
Yes. If your sword is just a bonus and there's nothing else to it, you're already making it disposable by doing that. Ooh, it's a +1 sword. It's a +2 sword. Bah. Oh, this is the sword of King Calabar, and
Yeah.
he used this to remove the head of the demon lord in the great fight of 1,000 years ago. Ooh, tell me more about this sword, please.
Yeah.
Like that's that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what Archeo Matt is saying, and welcome, by the way. I don't recognize your name, so if you're new here, or if you're coming from Bears
I
side
don't
of the
recognize
channel,
the name either. And a
so
lot of people have different
well,
names
welcome.
on. But yeah,
I treat the
nice to meet you.
+1 to +3 weapons and armor with no special features as being based on material quality, like +3 is adamantite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or just craftsmanship. A lot of systems have different levels of craftsmanship that you can add, like Castles and Crusades has, where you can have an exceptional quality weapon where it gives either a +1 to hit or a +1 to damage. Sometimes it does, a really, really good one. Mastercraft will be like a +1 on both hit and damage, and it reflects in the weight of the weapon as well, or the armor, or whatnot. So it will affect it without it actually being magic. So, are you willing to throw that thing away?
Oh, it's Dirty
Oh,
History and Hobbies. Hey, brother, what's
yeah.
up, man?
Okay. Let's see. I don't know why it's using my handle. It's usually my channel name. It's Dirty History and Hobbies. Oh, okay. Well, welcome. I'm not familiar with you, so welcome to the channel. And good to have you here. I like how Earth Dawn. I have Earth Dawn down on my shelf. Eventually, I'll get to looking at it. And Earth Dawn is a big, big thing for Max over at Legion of Myth.
Max Liao, yeah, he loves
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It's like if you mention Earth Dawn, he has to take a shot, or we're supposed to take a shot, or something like that.
Drink.
So,
Yep.
yeah. So it's been a long time since I've been on his channel, so that's somebody I'm going to have to make a connection again to. But I like how Earth Dawn did magic items. They started weak until you learned their history, and then bound it. Then bound its thread. It is threads to your character's tapestry. Nothing was disposable.
Which is great. It's something
Yeah.
I'm looking at for the Judge's Companion. I've been thinking about it, trying to figure out how to do it. But the whole idea of having it be growing, the magic item growing with you over time, right?
Yeah.
And getting more powerful or becoming more
Yeah.
useful. That's something I'm looking at, but I don't really know how to do it yet. But I'm thinking about it as a possible mechanic in the Judge's Companion. So I agree with that.
Could a weapon, like a named weapon, carry with it its own karma? You know what I'm saying? So, like, just merely wielding that weapon could have, like, based on how you're using it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But could you transfer your karma to a item that you're using?
I
Hey,
don't
that's
have
not
anything like that
Name's
right
sword,
now.
that's Lancelot's sword. And
I
so
I don't have anything like that right now. But now
yeah.
that you mentioned, I'm thinking about it. I'm going, well, if you took Sting, Oakhurst, right?
Mm.
And you said something like every time you slay a goblin, you get +1 karma because the sword is giving you a karma point because you use it against goblins. That would be something I'd see. I
Yeah.
wanted to avoid the idea of like pearls of power and things like that because they just become purchasable items. And I don't want yes, potions, absolutely.
Yeah.
Scrolls, absolutely.
Yeah, because
There's
they're
going to
one-time
be
use things anyway. Yeah.
that I'm fine with. But things like, like these little magic items that are like, oh, I have a pearl of power. Why don't you have the pearl of power? So that's the thing I want more for in Valorous is the, not
Yeah.
But I could see something like that. I could see that being a feature of a particular item, right? Or this crown a circlet that you wear that has 10 karma in it, that every day it regenerates 10 karma. But if you do any of these things, you lose the karma in it or something. I could see stuff like that. That's something I would have to think about. But yeah, I could see that. It's not a crazy idea.
So it seems like you want to limit a source of power for characters so they weren't juggling too many and losing focus. Maybe it's a magic sword, maybe it's an ancient bloodline and whatnot. Yeah.
Perhaps that's one way of looking at it. Yeah. I have no argument with that.
Yeah.
This is not a murder hobo power player game. It's not
Right.
designed to be so. It's not meant to be so. You could do that if you want. Have
Yeah.
fun. I gave you rules on how to create magic items, so have a great time.
Right.
But the idea is that it's a dirty, filthy story game for me. So I want, oh, this axe, it's got a history.
Yeah.
Ooh, this ring, it's got a history. You know what I mean? So that's the idea.
So let's see. Let's see what else jumps at me to bring up here. So, talents, heroes call, profession overlays, backgrounds, cultures, and social status. Yeah, we hit almost all of these. Let's just go back to heroes call. So let's take a look at heroes call. I think that's 93. And let's see what jumps out, because heroes call is part of the character creation, correct? This is the motivation, what brings them out. All
Yes.
right. So in Valorous, this is called the hero's call. It is the reason you left health.
Hearth,
I'm
Hearth
sorry,
Hall or
Hearth
Cloister.
Hall, or Cloister.
Yeah.
It
So
is
there's
not
three
a
types of.
Destiny. Yeah, it's not a Destiny, but Destiny Awakened.
So basically, with the Heroes Call, there's three tables that you can pick one of to roll on, right? And there's a
Yeah.
D1 to roll. There's the Martial Heroes Call, the Magical Heroes Call, or the General Heroes Call. And
Yeah.
you roll a percentile, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I got a 37. Okay, on the general table. 37.
Yeah.
The Pilgrimage. You walked long miles seeking faith, wisdom, or revelation. The road strengthened you, but also left you weary of comforts. And you get a boon, Fleet of Step, and you get a Bane, Constitution, weak Constitution. So the whole idea of the calls is that I'm not going to write out everything that happened for you. You have to figure that out when you're
Right.
making your
Right.
character. Oh,
Yeah.
I got the banner burned. Whoa, what is that
That's what I
event?
mean. Yeah, you make it up. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I've seen similar things. Modifius' Conan 2D20 had that.
Okay.
Had basically a backstory, and it could come from a variety of different uh, portions of your character creation. So
Sure.
your backstory could have came from a number of things, and it'll give you, based on which one you rolled or chosen, it would give you a particular trait and like a skill level in a particular skill that is connected to that. Um, but yeah, I like that aspect of a game where you can randomly generate, well, what is my character's motivation, like what got them out the door, basically.
Sure.
And that's, it's better if, I guess, if they can think of one for themselves, but sometimes they just want to say, hey, let's see what happens randomly, and I can build a story around that.
So the idea is that two people can have the same hero's call, and it'd be two completely separate
correct.
events.
Yeah. It'd be two very different ways of looking at the same thing, and yeah, that's awesome. That's something that I kind of got into with someone, earlier on in the week in a live stream. One of the live streams, probably on DF James's channel again, where it's like, the question was about like pre-generated characters.
Sure.
And I said, you know what? When I'm at a convention and they're handing out pre-generated characters, I always play the first one that's on the top of the list, on top of the stack.
Sure.
I just take it and I run with it, and I will figure out a way to make that, work and be playable and enjoy playing it. And that's the same thing with, like, when you're choosing to roll randomly on something to come up with like your character's, background or whatnot, just roll with it. You could still have a very interesting character, or in other game systems where you're rolling your attributes, right? And it's like, yeah, you could have a broken character. The character might not last very long, but you can still have a great time playing, role playing that. It's like, it's a fun thing to role play someone with horrible stats. Sometimes it's like, oh, well, he's pretty incompetent, but we'll see how long. It becomes a story. How long can he last? And I've heard people like with stories of, oh yeah, I rolled up a 1 hit point, a 1 hit point thief,
Yeah.
and he survived to 5th level, with that start off point of, starting off with just 1 hit point and managed to get through all of those adventures before finally getting killed, quite a ways down the road.
Sure.
That's something that's interesting. So how do we handle death in Valorous?
So, mechanically or story wise?
Well, mechanically first.
Okay, so mechanically, you either are reduced to 0 health by killing damage, so edge damage, what have you, or after reaching 0 health, you are struck by blunt damage that then continues to destroy you.
Okay.
But there's also the feat system where they can get a kill result on you.
Right.
And then you have to make a feat versus kill to avoid being killed.
Yeah.
Those are the mechanical ways of doing it. And it can happen real bloody quick, let me tell you. But if you're ever reduced to, and I got to clarify this in the Judge's Companion, if you're ever reduced to negative health, so whatever your starting health was, if you are reduced to negative that number, you are irrevocably dead at that point.
Yeah.
Narratively, you're dead.
Yeah.
Like there's some stuff I got to fix in the spells that we put in a resurrection spell, but it's really hard. It's not even a spell; it's a gift from a god.
Yeah,
and you have to be like the high level, like not high level, but high power to get that access to it. And there are very specific rules around it. But there's no, oh, I'll just cast Revivify. I'll just cast, here's a rod of life restore. Bing!
Yeah.
No.
I come from the school of my second dungeon master who picked up after the first in around like 1980, and he was like, why would a god give you the power over life and death, like where you can, it was like, first of all, if the god of death, any of the gods of death, because in Greyhawk there were half a dozen of them, they found out that you just resurrected somebody, they're striking your ass down. It was like, no, he says, mere mortals will not have that ability. And, I've told this story 100 times, but for anybody that's new, so one of our core players, Steven, his main character died, and I forget which adventure he died in. It could have been Ravenloft. It could have been one of those, pretty dangerous adventures.
Yeah.
And he was like, I really just give me one chance to get this character back. I don't want a cleric that can cast resurrection. Put it on an item, put it on. So the DM finally buckled and he says, you know what? I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to find a resurrection scroll. Let me think about it. And he was like, all right, next session that we had, which was like 2 or 3 days later, possibly. And he was like, all right, you hear a rumor of this thing. And he put it in the last chamber of the Tomb of Horrors.
Oh, Jesus.
So it was like, first group, and now he warned us, do not take your main characters in there. The ones that you had been playing for 5 years at this point, don't bring them in there. Bring backup characters in first. So we went in, total party wipe. Not even that far into it either. It was like everybody dead. All right. I really want to bring him back. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. All right. So he's going to keep on crying for this. So, all right, we're going to go in again. This time some of us took our main, others took backup, and I took my main in. And after the first 2 were killed or 3 were killed, I forget, we're going back to like maybe 87. Yeah, it was like, I was like, nope, I'm taking one piece of treasure and walking my ass out of here. So I could at least say I went in and I came out with one piece of treasure and just left. and that was the last time that any of us ever asked for access to a resurrection scroll because we lost
For
about
sure.
8 characters going after it. It was like, no,
Yeah.
nothing worth it. That's the only adventure that we did not conquer. Was the Tomb of Horrors. But yeah, no, resurrection should be, in my opinion, a no go. Should
I
be
agree.
not something that is
It should be a quest on top of it all.
yeah, and you should be worthy of being brought back. Don't come, why would a cleric, which has to be like a 14th level cleric, why would a 14th level cleric use a resurrection spell to bring back a second or third level character? All right. They have virtually no accomplishments in their adventuring time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, maybe a ninth level lord or something like that might have more significance being brought back than not. But I'll let you go.
So I added this in. Where is it? Give me a second. It's so much easier to find stuff in a PDF than a book. I thought it was under the solar host. Sunbeam, Daybreak, Solar, Divine Power. Nope. I wanted to read to you how it works in the game so you could see how crazy hard it is to do. But sadly, it's hard to find in a book versus just searching a word in a bloody PDF. The Green Hand, the Drowned King, the Pit. So there's a whole bunch of occult spirits that you can work with that'll help you.
Right.
So no, I can't find it right now. But basically, the way I worded it is, yeah, you're a channeler of the highest level of magic for this divine power, and you have access to this. Okay, go ahead and try. But the spirit may not want to come back, or it may have been restricted from coming back.
Yeah.
So you can't just do this automatically.
Yeah.
And then, and I love this idea because it's like, oh, we tried to revive Bloodworth, the great hero Bloodworth who died, and we took him to the right person, and they did the thing, and they say, I'm sorry, his spirit is being held in the abyss.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we still want to save him. Well, now we got to figure out how to get into the abyss,
right,
and go on the Paladin and Hell quest to get him back,
yeah,
from the underworld.
Yeah.
So this is the idea, right? Is to make it something that drives the story. It's not just the thing I can't stand in the high power, what we used to call Monty Hall D&D when we were playing in the 80s. Let's make a deal. Is this idea of just on massive events.
Yeah.
Massive things like bringing someone back from the dead.
Yeah.
Oh, look, that they're alive. Yay.
Yeah.
And sadly, 5th edition for me doubled down on that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's absolutely absurd.
Well,
absurd.
Yeah. It introduced the video game mechanic of the reset button, going back to your last save. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh no, your character can come back. That's not a problem. Death loses meaning, makes mindless violence more acceptable. There is a great mythology around entering the afterlife to bring somebody back. Yeah. And that's always been, I mean, I've never played or ran, Paladin in Hell, but I think that's the whole thing. It's a redemption arc, right? For the Paladin. There was a cartoon that I saw that was based on that too. A Paladin goes into hell, basically to redeem himself. So he's essentially a fallen Paladin. I forget the name of that cartoon, but there is a cartoon out there that does the same thing.
All right, get comfortable. Hang on. Attack of the Apartment Panther. There we go. Thank you for moving the mic. I'm sorry it was in your way, sir. Anyway.
So let's start summarizing and projecting forward. So Valorous is out there for now about like 5 to 6 weeks or so, or even less. Yeah. So about 5 or 6 weeks or so. Hopefully it's doing well, and hopefully
doing all right.
People,
doing all right. Could do better.
Yeah, so hopefully more people become aware of it and start checking it out. If you're looking for something that is not a D&D clone, that you haven't seen before, then definitely check this out here. And then the judges companion. So
Yes, very
I
good.
finally got it right. The judges companion should be coming out around Aprilish.
April, we'll say April for
Yeah,
fun. Yeah.
yeah. So around April.
And I have an adventure I'm working on called Greenskin Gulch,
Okay.
which I'm hoping to get out just in the new year.
Yeah. So there will be some additional content and resources coming out as early as April. That's pretty much around the corner. Looking at it. And then there are ways for you to write your own adventures and even publish them using Creative Commons and other things here for Valorous.
I
And
should give you my Patreon because my Patreon is where I post a
oh
lot
yes,
of stuff.
yeah. So
And
let's
it's $5 a month. And I'm telling
yeah.
you right now, you're gonna get way more than your $5 a month out of it. I promise you. And
And
I post
sure.
stuff there for Valorous and Heroic. And I'm also starting work on a third thing, which is my sci-fi hack for this called Freebooters.
So
But
there
that's
is Bear's Patreon link. So however you can click on that or cut and paste it or do whatever and jump in there. My birthday is in April. Hope to see it by then. Uh,
fingers crossed,
yeah,
Midorval. Fingers
yeah,
crossed.
Mirador. Mirador is one of my players. Hey, maybe by April I'll actually I'll do a preview with you guys. My regular
Ooh.
Tuesday night and just run something using it and everything to introduce you guys to it. I've been looking to mix up,
Well, I'll tell you what.
my Tuesday nights anyway.
I'll try and get the Greenskin Gulch done before then, so you at least have an adventure you can run them through.
Yeah, yeah. So that's or write my own. We'll see how it,
Or
yeah,
that works too.
yeah. Write my own, write a little introductory adventure to, introduce both the world and the system, all in one little shot. Yeah, either way. But yeah, so Mirador, I will certainly try to get us to play some more, different things on our Tuesday night, since my Tuesday night is the go-to night. That's where I have the most luck in getting my players to come to the table is every Tuesday night. And we've been now 19 weeks on our current Castles and Crusades. But
Nice.
I've been just dying to get some other game systems thrown into the mix along the way. So
Nice.
definitely will take a look at Valorous and see when I can squeeze that in at some point. Maybe on my Saturday night rotationals. Get that in there as well.
I totally want after action reports if you play though. Please.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I will definitely.
And I'll make you another deal. If you could do this and you give me some good feedback on it, get me all your players' names, and when we do the deluxe edition, we'll mark them under the Hall of Heroes for playtest.
Oh, nice, very nice. Yep, I'll certainly do that. So you were looking for a game to switch to for a bit. Yeah, I just want to mix it up a little bit, Mirador. I was shooting towards January. So in January, I'm thinking we should make a shift. Or if one of you want to pick up the reins of being a game master on Tuesday nights, that would be a nice little break too, especially if you want to do like a brief thing. If that's
because I absolutely adore giving you links to share with people.
Yeah.
This is the link for my Discord. So if you guys are interested in Valorous or Heroic or eventually Freebooters, and who knows what else I'll do, join the Discord. We talk about this stuff there all the time, plus a whole bunch of other stuff. It's called the Society of Role Playing Gamers, TSRPG, and it'd be great to have you on board.
All right. So is this the Discord?
Yep.
Yep. So that's the most recent one here. And you probably already have my Discord. If you don't, you can find my Discord link in every single video in the description of every single video, and you'll find it there as well. Nice. I heard mention of freebooters the other day. I thought maybe it was going to be a high seas piracy version. Sci-fi will be nice too. Yeah, cool.
May I take a quick moment to explain?
Yep.
So, Freebooters was an idea I had for a sci-fi setting, sort of space fantasy, sci-fi, like Guardians of the Galaxy type stuff, a while ago. And I wrote it up as its own game, and I didn't like the engine. And then I decided to adopt all that material into the Zenith universe, my superhero universe for Heroic, where it was what's going on in space. But
Right.
now that I've had Valorous come out, I'm thinking about taking those original documents, divorcing it from Zenith, and publishing it as its own Guardians of the Galaxy style superhero, space sci-fi, space
Right.
fantasy role-playing game. So that's what that's about.
Cool.
But if you go on the Patreon, you'll find tons of information for Heroic
Yeah.
about the Freebooters universe. So that's there.
Cool. Yeah. So definitely check out that as well. And looking forward to the upcoming week. So Monday nights I tend not to do anything. It's my late night, for work as well. It's one of the few days of work that I work, a 7-hour day. So I'm semi-retired. So 7-hour day is a long day. And then Tuesday I have my Castles and Crusades game night on Tuesday. Then Wednesday I am free again, and we'll see what we're doing. As far as Wednesday is concerned, probably get some more coverage. I'll do a little bit of a breakdown of Valorous's game system. So that's where that video will come.
I don't know what your schedule's like, but I can send you the link to the player questionnaire for Valorous. There will be a new Valorous game starting in the new year, and if you want to maybe be a player in a game.
Oh, well, that I will certainly do too. Yes. What nights do you run on? What, Wednesday nights?
So I run live streams right now on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday every 2 weeks, and then Wednesday every week because it's an alternate Heroic, alternate Valorous game. But in the questionnaire, it has the days of availability. Everybody check the ones that are available for you, and it's a 2-week rotation. It's never weekly. Yeah. And once I have the people's things, I can go, oh, these 5 guys can play on this day together. Great, you 5 are in this game, and let's go.
All right, that'll be cool. Yeah,
send it to you right now.
Yeah, I'm typically free on Wednesdays. I get home on Wednesdays at 7:30. Although, my family goes nuts when I do a Tuesday night followed by a Wednesday night. So I'll look for Friday night. That might be a good night for me to look to.
That's a good night for me too, for an alternate game.
Yeah. So I might look for Friday night. And then Thursday morning, I will not be doing so if anybody like Paul if Paul is still in chat, I posted this on my Discord. Thursday morning, I am meeting with my cardiologist. So I am not going to. No, everything so far has been. I go for an echo on Tuesday morning. I'm going for an echo, but so far all of my heart stuff had turned out. I probably just had a really bad case of agita that felt like I was having a freaking heart attack. So, but that should all be clear. But that's Thursday morning, so no gangbusters this Thursday morning.
Well, best of luck to you with the doctors, sir.
Yeah, it should be fine. I'm not even remotely concerned with it. It's just got to get it done so I can have a clear, clean bill of health. Which I expect to have, and then we'll see. Friday morning, maybe I'll be at the dentist Friday morning because I have a toothache. Gaming wise, I'm working on my Hyperborea campaign that I'm planning on launching on December 4th, and I have 2 dedicated players for that. That's going to be a Thursday night game. So if anybody is looking to play Hyperborea, Thursday nights starting December 4th is when I will start that. And that game, since I don't work on Thursdays, that game will start around 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. So that's pretty much everything. And I got 10 minutes to get ready to go watch whatever that was.
Welcome to Derry.
Derry. Yeah, welcome to Derry. So welcome to Derry with my wife and kids. I don't know. That's our family time. Our family time is watching horror movies, horror
Well,
series.
I had a blast, and I'm going to give you
Yes.
one last thing that I want to offer to your viewers and only your viewers and the people here. Give me a quick second. I just got to grab a link. I know I'm full of links tonight. What's up?
Yeah.
I'm the link king. So I am going to give to your viewers right now as a thank you for having me on and in a hopeful encouragement to get them to go, you know what? I need this in print. I am going to give them the free copy of the PDF of
Okay.
Valorous right now. So let me just go ahead and get the link, make sure it's only view, not edit, because I don't want you guys breaking my shit. And I'm going to put it in the private chat for you. So basically, any of your viewers, go ahead and grab yourself a free copy of Valorous right now. It's free. And if you like it, consider buying the soft cover book, please.
All right. So here it goes, and there is the. Oh wait, I might have screwed that up.
That's okay.
Let's see. Does it end in a VT? Yes, it does. Okay. There.
There you go. That's right from my OneDrive, so don't hack me.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys basically want a free copy, there it is. And that's how confident I am that if you play it, read it, come on the Discord and ask questions or watch one of the live streams, you will want to have this in your life.
Yeah. And if you caught my stream earlier on, if you do get it from Amazon and they throw it in the back of the truck and it gets dinged, Amazon will send you a new one for free.
So, and you'll have a table copy at that point in time. Even better.
This is my table copy, and I've already told Off Grid that if he's not in some bizarre place where it would cost me less to just buy it for him on Amazon, I will send him this copy. I forget exactly where Off Grid lives. So
Canada. He's up in northern Canada.
Yeah. So it'll probably cost me
just more. Like me.
It'll probably cost me more to send it to him than it would be for me to buy him one on Amazon and have it sent to him.
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
It would vastly cost you more. And you can see under my name here, it says @BearTheGenXGM, one word. So youtube.com/@BearTheGenXGM. It'll take you to my channel. Have lots of live plays of both Heroic and Valorous there, plus some other stuff we've done over the time. And every now and then I go live and I just talk shit while drinking coffee and hanging out with people. So physical copies are only on Amazon, sir. Sorry to say. Yeah. And I did that because I wanted people to take advantage of the cheap shipping. And I got to say, I'm super happy with the print quality. I am not disappointed.
Yeah, no, it's again, the print quality is awesome. The book quality itself is incredible. Like I said, my don't take my shipping ding, as a indicator of the quality of the book at all. I used to load trucks too, so I know sometimes, when I was a teenager, it was like, oh, fing. It was like,
where are you located, Electric Goat? What part of the world are you in? Why is this a boo for you for Amazon? I'm curious. Is there a reason why? Because I have links for UK, Ireland, Australia, Canada, the US. I got everywhere I've covered except China, and South America, because Amazon doesn't do South America. So where are you? And I will get you the link right now, happily. But it's $20 roughly, and it's worth it.
Really. Does Amazon have Australia?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Amazon shouldn't be a problem unless.
And if you don't have Prime, it's like.
If you don't have Prime.
$5-10 shipping. It's cheaper than Lulu, Drive-Thru-RPG in a big way. Well, I'm sorry, sir, but I have to deal with the masses. I apologize.
Yeah. It's grab the free PDF that's up there. Yeah. At least you'll have that. And then you can probably print it on your own printer for about $20 anyway.
Or Kinko's or wherever. I'm sure they can print it up.
Is there a Kinko's still? I don't think Kinko's still exists.
Staples, whatever. I'm sure they can do it for you.
Staples is expensive now for copying. Not since
the incident.
So anyway, all right, Bear. Hey, it was great having you on.
Super fun being here.
That we were able to focus on Valorous. So that's a thumbs up on that, and I hope you enjoyed it. And everyone, thanks for coming in. Check out all of those links on there, and then this live stream will probably become available for you to rewatch if you need to, probably by tomorrow morning, because the 5-hour live stream that I didn't realize was still running, it will probably be done by Wednesday. So we'll see how long that takes to actually go live on my channel. But anyway, thanks everyone for, yeah, I think there is a Kinko's near me. All right, well, cool. Yeah, I remember Kinko's back in 2000.
Wow.
I didn't think that they were still around anymore. But anyway, thanks a lot, everyone, and you will have a good one. I am going to hit the